What's going on, guys? What's going on? So I am moving and shaking right now. Shout out to everyone or whatever will be filming tonight. So shout out to everybody involved with that. Anyway, where do I begin real quick? I want to make this as quick as I possibly can. This will be under 20 minutes because I'm moving and shaking right now. I saw a person of I won't even say importance, but try to perpetuate himself as being important. And it didn't quite work out for him like that. I'm going to do, there's no retractions here, but I'm going to do an update for y'all in a little bit. Like I said, this is just my little pre-review before I do my review. You're a real ass fucker, aren't you? Oh, this is a cocky son of a bitch. When I heard you on the other podcast or whatever, actually it was a podcast, it was a national news site or whatever, you posted a lot there, but this one you outdid yourself today. Oh, you outdid yourself. And so like I said, subsequently I'll talk all about it and give you guys an update on what I feel, but this will give you an overall bias of how I feel. I'll say it like this. I believe that this guy is going to demolish himself. That's all I can say. There was a lot of things that were left out of the conversation, especially when it pertained to Jaguar, right? And you saying that there was some particular lawyer clause, or maybe a lawyer made a suggestion to you, or maybe for bad reason, she might tear you apart and she gets you on camera. You, by your own admittance today, said, no, I don't know anybody for it. And I heard you read that. Did anybody else catch that? First, he was referencing O.J. Simpson and the O.J. Simpson trial. Then he said he had only been doing, and if I heard it correct, I'm not sure, guys. Y'all let me know in the chat room if it's different. Then he said he had been doing media for 15 years. Then he turned around and said he had been doing media for 10 years. I was confused. I'm like, okay, so how long have you been doing media? It's like if somebody asked me, I could say, okay, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm around real media, in the same press areas. If you guys see me, I've been with Lisa Evers and everybody else you could think of has been on this camera with me. So, and that includes Fox News, CNN, the opposing ones. I've been with all of them, from covering Jonathan Major's trial to covering these last three arraignments for Diddy, covering both Trump arraignments. As you guys know, if you carry through my channel, I've always known real media, so I know the distinct difference between the two. I know sensationalism, and I also know real media. And as a person that knows real media, one of the things that I will say clearly is this. I believe that Chris Todd is ultimately not telling the truth. I think Chris Todd knew that he obtained that bit of information that he did in a notion or in a passion or in a way that is not in destiny, if that makes sense with everything that's going on. We're talking about the guy that reportedly, let me give y'all an update. We're talking about the gentleman, his name is Chris Todd. He is actually the person that was responsible for this book being published and publicized, in my opinion. He's made an inclination today that he made almost $1 million off the book before Amazon halted the sales of such book because of an interruption from, I'm assuming, Albie Shore and the estate of Diddy. This book is supposed to be some type of tell-all, depending on who you ask. One particular gentleman himself, by the name of Courtney Burgess, which many of y'all are familiar with, he's been in a lot of places in the media. This gentleman from the New York City tri-state area here, but now living somewhere else. This gentleman subsequently, he's here frequently, especially this recently. Hey, what's going on, Big Bilal? This gentleman gave some files and some, I'm assuming some types of manuscripts, and it warranted him being pulled into court with his lawyer. Shout out to her. Ain't got no problem with her. This station is live. This female attorney, black female attorney, she's been very vocal as far as how she feels. She's taken some prior proceedings against Puff and whatever faction it has to be. Hold on one second, guys. Let me get this one out of here. I got him. Don't worry about it. We always get at least 4 of those. Courtney Burgess has, and I know this because I was there, he didn't show up for court last time. And so I don't know what prompted him not to show up for court or whatever for further investigation on said material that he was in possession of. He claimed that some people wanted to buy, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've all seen a diabolical split on YouTube, but that's the only place that we've seen a split. We've seen a split on YouTube. We have not seen a split in a major arena. And even when it comes to Piers Morgan and his interviews he did, that's not in the arena of professional journalism. That's in the arena of YouTube, social media. Brought out probably, hey friend, good to see you at Dabby. Hey, Curious Rose, what's going on? What is this channel about? Oh, okay. Well, you got to go, Bilal. We don't have time to give recaps every 5 minutes. He was asking too many questions. Guys, make sure y'all write my Cash App in the description box. $STRINGERBELL80. I see y'all in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button as well. I appreciate it. And make sure you share. That's what we love to do. If you can't afford to contribute, at least do those little things and hit that like button. This Chris Todd dude today, who was a co-author, co-publisher, however you want to present himself. He went on a tirade of why we should all be thankful for him. Why we should all be cumbersome of the fact that he is one of the chief investigators and brought down the mob. He was giving all kinds of claims of grandeur and delusion. There's honestly and truthfully, I never heard of this guy today. One admittance that I did like that you did was you said you injected yourself into the situation. And that's something that I appreciate you did. Because as I was sitting there, and I was there live. I saw this gentleman get ripped apart because of his Kim Porter interpretations along with Courtney Burgess. And I thought it was disgusting. First of all, sir, I feel a certain way. My mother's an African-American woman, and for you to position yourself and say to the public that you came out of nowhere, then couple that with your delusions of grandeur and say you're doing it to advocate her passing. I'm confused. And based on what I saw in that chat room, they were confused too. There was a lot of challenges and challengeable questions that were being thrown at him, and he didn't want to insert to any of them. He would rep his lawyer. Oh, well, I'm not allowed to speak about that. I'm not allowed to speak about that. So the tough questions he wasn't answering, the softball questions that he was actually going after, you know. I don't know you, and this is how I always talk. So we're gonna get you out of here. Yeah, we don't do racist talk in here. We don't do sexist talk in here. I don't care what gender it is. We don't do that in here. It doesn't add to my accord, and that's not what I'm with. So sorry, you gotta go. Person with the most clearance will take action. Money talks. Yeah, it seems like that. I mean, he kept referencing his money that he made. He said, "Oh, I made $1 million." You know, the question was brought up. He actually answered that question. Another question that was put up to him: what was his place in this? And that's when he said, "I interjected and put myself in place." I don't know, and I can't clarify. Jaguar was in the chat room. I was almost prompting myself to write something, and I didn't. For many and various reasons, I'd rather have the communication here. I'm not interested in talking to him. I'm not interested in interviewing him. I think it speaks for itself when Amazon itself removed the book. But this segment right here, like I said, I'm just going to give it a quick little 10, 15 minutes with this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get a quick little 20,000 views. I can live with that. It's not about that. It's more so I need you guys to share this because I'm going to do a longer version of it. Like I said, I'm moving and shaking right now. What are you saying here? Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, you know what? I seek as I don't seek. I've always put myself as kind of counsel, if that makes sense. So, every now and then I like to throw a bone out there, send a kite, if that makes sense. So, what I'm saying here is, as I told you last week, give me 1 second. As I told you last week, I know the renderings of an unaccomplished man. They speak very loudly, especially if these unaccomplished men come from a certain persuasion. They speak the loudest out of all unaccomplished men because they are viewed as being accomplished, if that makes sense. And so one of the admissions that he had today was, oh yeah, I tried my arm at Hollywood, it failed, I didn't make it, I didn't put in enough effort, or whatever excuses he gave. And that's when it all made sense to me. I said, this is the guy that I was talking about. I lived my whole entire life here in Connecticut, damn near. My whole entire life. And the areas I lived in different areas, but, in the shoreline, which I'm most claim to fame, we all know we grew up with Italians and Greeks, mostly. So when somebody came in here just a minute ago and said, why does his voice sound like he's white? I don't sound like I'm white, I sound like me. And I know a whole bunch of other people that sound like me. Candace Owens is from the town that I live in. You know what I'm saying? So is Jen Sock.
This is the train to Grand Central. The next station is
and if you guys go on here, you'll see a video that I did where I actually went to where Candace Owens grew up at. I went across town and went over there and checked that out, whatever, and gave my little thing on there because they were coming at her. Everybody in that chat room was coming to Chris Todd. We say cold in Connecticut? Not yet, but it's starting to be. It's starting to be. It's 37 in Ontario. Yeah, man, listen, all that weather we get once. But I used to live on the shoreline. So all the, storm comes in and it goes out, usually by sea. And I've dealt with everything. Coastal floods. I used to live right on the shoreline. Like literally, you walk across the street and there's literally, I guess you call it a channel or waterway or whatever. And then we've got 3 sections of water. So we've got that, and then that leads down, you go down like a mile, and then you're gonna run into a larger beach. And then we've got another, like a, I don't know what you call it, boardwalk, I guess you would call it. And that's huge itself too. So we grew up around water. You know what I mean? Like my whole life I grew up around water. I know boats, you know what I'm saying? Boston whaler, shit like that. Like that's how I grew up. So, and there's a lot of other people just like me because they say the same thing about Candace Owens. I'm like, God, you sound like that's how she grew up. We're American. How we're supposed to sound. I always find that odd. You know what I mean? Lake effect is real. Nah, I won't call it lake effect. I just call it this. You're a product of where you most spend time. Most of my time has been spent in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I mean, I've traveled everywhere, as you guys can see. I'll show y'all that. I've been everywhere. Miami, Cali, it doesn't matter. Multiple times, but this is my home. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Yeah, he's looking for Hollywood to call it. He got his own agenda. I'm telling you the truth. I mean, Curious Rose gets it. You get it too. It was actually warm here today, Curious Rose. She said, I'm in the Poconos today, it's cold. Now, you were in Mountainous Peak almost, so, but here, it was warm today, it was nice today. The reason I'm dressed the way I'm dressed right now is because it's like semi-warm. I took my jacket off, that makes sense. What's your name? My name is the same as in the title, Davin Lewis. Lake effect is real. No, it's not cold. But back to the subject. Yeah, dude, he put his foot in his mouth so many times in his braggadocious ways only confirmed that this is an accomplished man, and this is his selling point for the cash out. He said, ain't nobody gonna stop my money. And then all the references to hip hop, it almost made me blow up. But then you guys know or don't know, I worked with Bad Boy Entertainment. I went through 3 of the distributors, including Atlantic Records. I started out at BMG, Brosman Music Group, and I concluded at Interscope. I promoted probably close to 40 plus different artists, also inclusive of the labels that we had distribution deals with. Those artists too, Soulja Boy, Nicki Minaj, Jesus Christ, who else? Wyclef, you name it. I've been around them and worked with them. Nothing went wrong for us. What went wrong with us was technology. Technology inadvertently bumped out our positions. When you could previously send 10 or 15 guys or 20 guys down to an event like it previously was. Technology now enabled that you could go online and you could do the same thing via Twitter, via Facebook, MySpace, or something that's being used. I think it most innovated in MySpace first. So I think that's what concluded it, if you want to be honest about it. I think that's what concluded it. And subsequently, they saw there wasn't no need. Now, as far as jobs were concerned, we got our jobs. Those would be inclusive. And that's when we made our segue to Ciroc and the Revolt campaigns. And we still subsequently promoted artists here and there, but it wasn't to the totality where I was in the office every day. Like when I was at BMG, I was at the office almost every day. You know what I mean? Any regrets? Nah, not whatsoever. I went everywhere. I was just showing guys pictures the other day of everywhere I've been, everybody I've been around. I've been around people from every country you could think of. Um, do I have any regrets about it? None. When people ask me, they say, well, what do you think about Puff doing this and everything? I was like, I never saw any of that. I never saw any of that. You gotta go. Somebody said, oh, you want to rock it. Do you see him at the beginning of the interview when he kept putting the sunglasses on and off and on and off. I said, oh, you trying to be cool? It's shady. He admitted that he was a government informant or somehow or some kind. And I'm just like, he sounds like he's kind of kooky to me. You know, that's how he sounded like to me. He sounded a little kooky. He sounded a little off. Like I said, I'm going to go a little bit more into depth with this, but I'm glad you did bring that up. Make sure you guys hit that like button for me. And also, one of you guys write my Cash App in there, $STRINGERBELL80. Do I know Mickey Minaj? I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that. Shout out to Queens, though. You know, you pay attention, you might see a lot of things you miss. Go back and watch some of my old videos. All right, now, I ain't answering no more questions, so don't write anything in here if you ain't roll my Cash App. I don't work that way.
Station is Large Pond. This is the train to Grand Central. The next station is New Rochelle.
You already saw whose face? You saw his face? Yeah, that dude, he's when he kept taking his sunglasses on and off, it kind of alerted me too. Hold on one second. Let me write my stuff in here, because if I don't, nobody will do it for you. We got over 125 people in the chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button as y'all come in. I appreciate it. Thank you. And guys, make sure you hit up my Cash App. I'm moving and shaking. I got something for y'all tonight. I'm going to do 2 pieces tonight. And I hope y'all enjoy them. But we always need the support. We always recognize, even though my page is monetized. And guys, as you see that option right there, the left-hand side, Christmas time is coming up. So make sure you guys go. No, I don't give stories about people famous. You can keep your money. But one thing I do want to do is I want to make sure before I do one thing, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to let you stay here for a second as I say it, but I want to do this first. Okay, got that. You want to hear a story about somebody famous? I'll give you one. Okay, here's a go. So one time I remember we were down in Miami. And when we were down in Miami, it was Memorial Day weekend, and this was Red Cafe was real popular. And Red Cafe, shout out to him, shout out to Shakedown. They treated me real good when I was around them. Can't say nothing bad about them. We was at the Cleveland Dutch. And if any people are familiar with Miami, that's on Ocean Drive. We were at the Cleveland Dutch. It's got like 2 pools in it. DJ B, he's DJing and all that stuff or whatever. And that weekend we were shooting Hottest in the Hood, which I showed y'all the pictures for before. I'll pull them up again for you in a second. I got my device with me. And so we were at the segment when we were at the club. I think that's what it was or whatever. And I know this girl came rushing out, and she was running behind Red Cafe. And she was in a video. She was real scantily clad. If you've been out of Miami, you know how them girls dress down there. They barely have anything on. If you're in Miami, you are in the Caribbean. Once you get to Hialeah and past North Miami, you know what I mean? So the girl, she runs behind Red Cafe. He's walking up the strip with the rest of us. We're all walking together. I got my camera, and my other man's got his camera, whatever. So this is all documented. I'm filming. And I still have on camera to this day. But just like the label says, Shakedown, Red Cafe shook that chick off for him. He said, nah, I can't mess with you. I got a woman. That's somebody I'm dealing with. And that was the most honorable thing I ever seen in my life. You want a story about a famous person? There's one. There's one. No, but you want me to tell a salacious story about somebody famous. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But I want y'all to understand, her comment confirms what I've been telling you guys. In the urban market, she said, I'll cash app you $50 if you give me a good story about somebody famous. Yeah, I saw that too. Hold on one second. Let me get Christina Brigado out of here. That was hilarious, right? Y'all like that one? Y'all like I do that? It was a story about somebody famous. Okay, here's one. That's why I gave her that one that was so dense. It's true, but is that a good one for you? Anyway, guys, I'll be back later. Appreciate all y'all. I'm gonna check in with y'all in probably like an hour or two or whatever. I'll let my phone charge and everything like that so I can be ready to do the real live. So, guys, make sure you're here. We're gonna go over this champion of media. Champion of media. I'm the best in media. There's nobody better than me. I'm Chris Todd. I'm the guy that got his book ripped off of Amazon. Excuse the French. Who in the fuck gets their book ripped off of Amazon? This, for example, my cousin. She's a Christian author. All right, I talk about her all the time. I love you so much. I'm not gonna say her name on it. But my cousin, you know I am. I'm not a conservative, but at the same time, I'm a New England boy. New England, New York boy. I'm gonna mix them together because that's really what it is. And a sprinkle of Jersey. And so I got a certain way. I come from a background where we used to like, you could be in the bar with somebody. Most of our bars were small as hell, so it ain't like there's a lot of space. But you know, you could be in the bar with somebody one day, crack them in the head with a bottle, and then the next night, that same person is drinking with you. Typical townie shit. So you know that's the kind of guys I come from. I come from that, sailors and shit like that. People in the Navy, whatever, and anybody that's in the check-in from Groton and hell, you know that area. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Real townie shit. So you know, like and we're proud of that. You know, so when I hear guys talk like that, it's ever progressive of the type of attitude they come from. You guys are cracking up right now. That's funny, but there's something on your face. Okay, well, we'll get it off eventually. Anyway, I just think it's funny when you hear guys like that. He's trying to be a thespian. So, and I tell you guys all the time, there's some of these people that are online, and I think a lot of it comes from that woke crowd that have perfected the articulation of bullshit. And that's what you guys saw, a proper articulation of bullshit. I was like, you're one of the best BS's I've ever seen in my life. That was my whole thing with that. Like, I know the difference. Secondly, for him to make the proclamation that he's one of the best in media and he solved all these cases and he's broke down the mafia cases, blah, blah, we should all know about it. And I'm like, okay, but dude, do you not realize, like, listen, my last video, the last court date we did with Puff, I had Lisa Evers on camera for y'all, and she was helping me, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you go figure it out. I had her talk on camera for us. She articulated what was actually the process versus what the media was reporting because she was in the courtroom. So, you know, shout out to Lisa Evers for that. And then you guys saw, I think we did 332,000 views before that was over. So, you know, we did a pretty good boost. Yeah, he said he was the best in media, Curious Rose. He says everybody should acknowledge me. And then those are shades back on. This is a real shady character here. Chris Todd. He wrote a book, don't you know? And Amazon said we got to take it off. Amazon said, you might be lying, so we got to take the book off. That's why I was mentioning my cousin, because my cousin has written 2 Christian novels. I always brag about her. And she's gotten accolades and awards for these 2 Christian novels. And I'm very proud of her. And when I hear somebody say, we're taking your book off of Amazon, that means you have a high amount of misinformation in it, or they feel that what you have to say is fraudulent within your publication. Okay, I need food. Okay, you gotta go. Why do you keep coming back with fake profiles? That's just sad. They found a hair in their food and decided to remove the book. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if you get what I'm saying there, Air Mace. Menez, excuse me. What's up, bro? Good, got my Latino people in here. That's what's up. Pretty fuego. What's going on? Ocho Cinco. Jack Hansel Walker. Y'all gonna stop calling me Ocho Cinco. Y'all be calling me Ocho Cinco, They'll be calling me. Oh no, we don't do racist jokes in here. Sorry, my friend. We don't do racist jokes in here. You guys make sure y'all hit that like button. I appreciate it.
This station is
Yeah, he is raw. I do earth tones. I'm a Taurus. That's a weird question, but I do earth tones. I'm a Taurus. High profile status. He said he was in high profile status. This is what the guy said. I'm not making any of this up. So shout out to I always like to call because he looks just like Anton LaVey Atwood. You're trying to play the position of neutrality now since that former persecutor let you know what's up. Well, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. You and YouTube is going to be held at a higher accord in these next coming months. Administration is changing, a whole bunch of other things are changing. So the games that you played during this past administration, you ain't going to be able to get away with so quickly no more. Misinformation, salacianism, stuff like that. You're going to have to form yourself around as being a real journalist. So I hope you get that, and I hope you stop lying in your podcast. Once again, I'm Davin Lord. I will be back here soon. We'll do a full review of this. I want to get planted and everything like that. So and once we get there, I will do that for you guys. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, more importantly, and support this channel. We're going to be moving and shaking. And I've got some other stuff for you this week. As always, you know we're on the move. We don't sit at home in our kitchen or our bedroom and do lives. Thank you guys very much. I'll talk to you in a minute. And Chris Todd, the best of media.